friends. Today we have to take one class on environmental and population education, and this class is specially for the students of 4th semester measure of education and generally for all the students of all the streams. There is arts, science and commerce for their core paper, that is environmental science. So this class is in a sense for all the students as well as for all the teachers and stakeholders. We had one class on 27th April 2020. On today this class is the second class. In our first class, we discussed all the basics of environmental and population education. Particularly, I discussed about the first part, that is the part of environmental education. Today let us see the spatial meaning as well as the definition of environmental education, and this part will help all the students of all the streams for their core paper. So this class is not only for the students of education, that is 4th semester measure for their paper 4.02, but this is a general class for all the students for the core paper, that is environmental science. Friends, let's see. We all know that the idea of environmental education is comparatively new. Though in most of the universities there are separate department of environmental science, still environmental education for you students, particularly the students of education, as well as for other students of undergraduate level, environmental education is a new subject or new area. Why this has become important? Because you know that there has been decline of the quality of environment we are living in. So friends, this is the time not to pollute the environment. This is the time we are to return the non-repairable resources which our ancestors used for the purpose of development, for transforming the social structure as well as our social system and life system. Friends, the basic concept is this, that if the environment does not exist, then we never can exist, because our existence has close link with the existence of the environment. Basically the three components we know, the air, the land and the water. These are the three basic components of the environment, and we depend on all the three components, that is land, air and water, for our sustenance. Sustenance or survival of all the living organisms and things as well as living plants, particularly the department of botany basically discuss all these things. The existence are not thinkable if the environment does not exist. So friends, we are depending on land, we are depending on the air, as well as we are depending on water. And that's why we have to know the environment or the surrounding in systematic manner, because we are existing, or our existence has close link with the environment. Let us see the definition, because you came to know that the term, English term environment, is being derived from the French term environnement. And environment means the surrounding, and it has linkage with the existence or survival of all the living as well as non-living beings and things of the universe. See, friends, according to the United States Environmental Education Act of 1970, this is very important, because after 1970 means we have to go back to 70, then we see that there has been discussions throughout the globe concerning to the declining quality of environment, and that's why this definition was forwarded by the United States Environmental Education Act 1970, and it is very important for all the students, all the stakeholders, all the teachers. It is the educational process dealing with man's relationship. Means this is one of the most important processes of education, which basically deal with man's relationship, your relationship with your natural and you-made, means man-made surroundings, because you are transforming the natural environment as per the demand of your life. See friends, the demands of our lives are unlimited, but the most important thing is this, that with the help of the limited resources of nature, we never can satisfy the unlimited demand of our life, and we are making mistake in that point, because our aspirations and hopes as well as demands are increasing, but the environment is remaining as it is, and that's why there is the decline of quality. So friends, it means man's relationship with his or her natural and man-made surroundings, and includes the relation of population, because numbers are increasing. More than 750 crore people are there. If you compare to your country, means India, you will see that India's population at present is more than 135.26 crore. And from the point of view of population, China is in the first place, where the total population of China is around 140 crore, means 138 crore. Friends, if you see the figure or data in your internet or mobile handset, you will find all the recent data. Pollution is another important area which is to be well studied. Why there is pollution and resource allocation? Because you know that this is very much important area. Development of humanity, human society of a nation basically depends on the availability of the natural resources. So allocation of natural resources or resources is very much important, and depletion. Why there is, you see, depletion of resources. We are using the very important resources of nature. As a result, you see, there is the depletion, means decreasing, decline of the storehouse of the resource. Conservation, and we have to conserve, otherwise we have to die. Extension of human civilization will result if we do not pay attention towards the conservation parameter. Transportation, technology and urban and rural planning to the total human environment. So friends, the subject environment covers all the most important, you see, aspects of nature as well as demands of human life. You see, every demand of human life basically depends on nature, but we feel basically we are not much more concerned about the stock of nature, about the declining quality of nature. We are destroying. There is a good saying in Bible. Bible says, and I like to quote before you, that the world is for the use of you people, and that's why do not abuse it. Means the world is for your use. It is not for the abuse of yourself. Means you have to use the world property of nature. But once humanity or human beings try to pollute or abuse, misuse the property of nature, then crisis result in society, in the natural world. And that's why environmental education is such a concept which is to help us realize the potentiality or significance or importance of nature or the surrounding where we are living in, for our own safety, not for the sake of nature. Nature goes or nature proceeds as per its own laws. We are assuming that we are, with the help of increasing stock of knowledge, with the help of development of scientific knowledge, with the help of developed technology, we can establish domination of our nature, and we are committing mistake. Friends, why we are committing mistake? You see, the basic thing is this, that nature never can be changed. It is nature which changes our nature. So friends, I just have to repeat, nature cannot be changed. It is nature which changes our nature. But we do not become much more conscious at the time of using the properties of nature. Simply we try to satisfy the demand of our life, increasing demand of our life. But there is also the increasing demand of nature for its own survival. And if the nature does not survive, your survival, my survival of humanity will be at stake, means in danger position. So friends, this is the concept of environmental education. This is one of the important definitions, and this definition is to be well kept in mind at the time of studying environmental education or assessing the basic concept of environmental education. Let us see the next one. There was a seminar in on environmental education during that time, because 70 is the time since which human society started to become much more concerned and conscious about the declining quality of environment and problems which are coming to human life. So this was the seminar, most important seminar, and this seminar was being organized by this Finnish National Commission, means for UNESCO at Zami in 1974. And Zami, is a native to arid, means unfertile or barren. There is no fertility of that area. Portions of Western Asia. Why Zami? Where is Zami? You have to know this, and that's why this is the explanation concerning to Zami. This is a native to arid portions of Western Asia and the Indian subcontinent, including Afghanistan, Bahrain, Iran, India, Oman, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. Its leaves are scattered and stripy along its branch. It can be found in desert places where it can survive. So friends, what happens in Zami? Why this place was selected for holding the seminar? Because there was destruction or depletion of the natural quality of environment. And what do this seminar inform? Let us see in the next slide. Zami, seminar. Zami, where is Zami? You have come to know. Zami seminar discussed environmental education is a way of implementing the goal of environmental protection. The basic concern is the protection of environment. For what purpose? For the protection of, lives in the planet. Environmental education is not a separate branch of science or subject of study. It's not a separate branch of science. It is an indispensable, one of the most important, parameters of study. And that's why all teachers are to know about environmental education. It should be carried out according to the principle of lifelong integral education. Means it is to be integrated with all the courses, may it be science, arts or commerce, whatever may be, it is to be integrated with the package of education. And that's why UGC in later stage made compulsory paper as core subject for all students of all streams for studying environmental education just after this seminar, which was being organized, under the leadership of UNESCO in Zami in 1974. And this was the definition, which has specific importance for all the students, all the stakeholders, for understanding the concept of environmental education, because without having proper concept of environmental education, we never can, have or develop proper concept of existence in the complex natural surrounding where we are living in. Let us see the next slide. Then Nevada conference is also there. This is the conference of International Union for the conservation of nature and natural resources in 1970. So friends, since 1970, I have already mentioned that the issue of conservation of natural properties, protecting nature, has become so much important for all segments of people in all places of the globe. And that's why always all the seminars, all the experts, all the environmental scientists, all the scientists or people of life sciences, people of botany, all means the people who are in the sector of Even education in art stream, they too are to become much more conscious concerning to the protection of the environment, not concerning to the process of using the natural resources which are available or which have already been used. So Naveda, what it is? Let us see Naveda concerning to Naveda, state of the United States of America. This is one of the places of the United States of America. On the United States of America, sometimes shortened as United States, means we know is as US. Instead of USA, we say it as US. Or just America. Sometimes we say America, sometimes we say as the United States of America, sometimes we say that United States. And you are to know about the United States because this information is so much important for you, because at the time of facing NET examination or any kind of interview, you are to know all these things. What is USA? 50 states and a federal district. Washington DC, you know, means United States do have 50 states, just like India. We do have 29 states and 6 UTs, means Union Territories. And sometimes it is said as 28 states and 7 union territories. You see, minus Jammu Kashmir, all these things which have come to the new situation as the geographical or the geographical area of India. The USA also has a number of unincorporated territories. Unincorporated territories are also there. These include islands such as Puerto Rico, Guma and Dominican, Samoa, name a few. All these things are there. You see, in the United States of America. So what USA is, to know this information, you are to see. Then let us come back. Definition of Naveda Conference. You know that this is one of the important part of the United States of America. And in that conference of 1970, you see, it was defined. Environmental education is the process of recognizing, means accepting, you see, accepting, valuing values, you know, and clarifying concepts. Values are to be valued and clarifying concepts. We are to clarify the concept in order to develop skills. Why? Because skills are to be developed so that we can learn to live life as per the changed situation of the, you say, surrounding and attitudes. Friends, this is very much important. Without changing attitudes, you never can change your life, change your society. So, first of all, we have to change our attitudes. On this seminar, emphasized on this, means you see, developing skills as well as changing the attitudes necessary to understand and appreciate the interrelatedness among man, interconnectedness or interrelatedness among man, his culture and his biophysical surroundings. How these things are being linked, we have to realize. And it is such education with the help of which we can understand our linkage with all this, means our man-to-man relationship, culture-to-culture relationship with the biophysical surroundings. Environmental education, friends, also entails practice in decision making. You are to make decision whether you are to pollute the surrounding or you are to protect it, and self-formulating of code of behavior about issues concerning to environmental quality. If the quality of environment declines, then quality of your life will decline. Means if the quality is lost, then the possibility of survival will be endangered, or in the possibility of extinction of human civilization will appear. So friends, these are very much important things which are to be studied at the time of knowing about the definition of environmental science. Let us see the next slide. Then American States Conference. There was another conference in 1971. Everything took place in 70s, you see. So it is 1971, and here it is defined like this. Environmental education involves teaching about value judgments and the ability to think clearly about complex problems about the environment, which are as political, because politics is so much important for, you see, politics is so much important because this is the most important area of decision making, then economic. Why we you see, loot the resources of nature. Why we put pressures over the resources of nature? Because economic transformation are philosophical as they are technical. So this is the definition which covers many important parameters of human life. You see, from political situation to economic condition, as well as changing philosophical, you see, perspective of human life, and then after applying the technological or technical expertise for the use of the resources of nature. Friends, the COVID-19 has, you have come to know that certainly it will be a very severe impact over our life system and social order. You see, instead of close connectivity, COVID-19 has, you see, taught us to follow the principle of distancing, means isolation. We are isolating. So our existence and survival has been threatened by a smallest virus. And you see the capabilities of human civilization, human organisms or human individuals just to protect life. This at this critical juncture of human civilization, when we say this is the 21st century, and with the help of the advancement of scientific knowledge and development of technological, you see, expertise on technological practices, we have achieved the climax point of development. We say that way, but see the situation. You see, all nations of the world are, in a sense, surrendering before the attack of the smallest virus. And leaders of the nations of the globe or experts are of the opinion that we must have to change everything, means our social relationship, our cultural parameters, our attitudes, our educational practices, everything must be changed, otherwise we can live life in, you see, in peace and in protect mindset or in protect, you see, assumption or protect condition. So friends, for economic purpose, what happens now concerning to the economy of the world? It is there is recession, means there is declining of the GDP. Why? Because of the lockdown, means the whole world has been under lockdown just to protect life, and protecting life has become the basic, you see, concern of humanity, and that's why we have to protect the environment. Otherwise, in near future, there will be a time when there will be 100% possibility of extinction of human civilization, and before that, we have to be quite mindful with the help of the knowledge of environmental science. Why it is important means now the concern of life means all people who are in the field of different studies, they are to pay proper attention. We are to learn how to protect nature, not how to use the properties of nature. Means by changing our attitudes, by changing our philosophy of life, we can help nature exist as it is in its own, you see, status without as per the laws of nature. Why we go to change the laws of nature is a most critical question which is to be answered by ourselves, because it is in our hand. So this is right time. Just knowing about the environmental education, having the idea of environmental education, we have to be much more concerned about the protection of nature or protecting the surrounding where we are living in, and for that purpose we have to change so many things, means our attitudes, our values, our life philosophy or philosophy of life, our social relationship, our economic process, as well as this political standpoint of all the nations. Now the National Anti-Pollution Law of Japan, 1969, again it is 1969, means 1972, 1974, 1971, it is again 1969. How it is explained? How it has given the explanation? You know, Japan is a very small country. Everywhere you have seen, there is, you see, sea in Japan, and that's why Japan defined it in order to enable people to enjoy good health. Now this is very important. Good health and a high quality of life. These are very important parameters. Good health and high quality of life. It is vital to prevent harmful effects of human health or damage to the environment caused by pollution of air, water and soil, noise, vibration, noxious smells, etc. caused by farms and individuals. The environment includes animals and plants and their ecological system, which are closely bound to the livelihood of people. Friends, in 1969 it was said we are to be careful towards the quality of life, and we are to be much more concerned about the parameter of good health, protecting health. And now it is said, people are of the opinion, experts are coming to say that in the same situation, just after COVID-19, during this phase of life, what has happened? Good health means we have to increase immunity so that we can fight with all the attack. We can fight with all the changes that are taking place in our environment, or there is possibility of taking sense or taking place in their future too. So quality of life is very much important. How? And that's why we have to change the values. We have to change the philosophy of life. And this has been during the time in 1969. It was reported to us, means to human society. Let us see the next thing. You see, again we come back. Madhu and Nidhi, they did research on environmental education, and after their research, you see, this is the finding most important. Environmental education is a process of providing learning experiences to obtain knowledge, understanding, skills and awareness with desirable attitudinal senses about man's relationship with his natural and man-made surroundings, which includes the relation of population, pollution, resource allocation, transportation, technology and urban and rural planning to the total human environment. Friends, this is so much important. You have observed throughout India, in your own country, that everything has been reversing. You see, there was a time when people from the rural places, there was the migration from rural places to the urban places. And now what happens? Just after the attack of COVID-19, there was the principle of globalization, means interconnectedness among all the nations of the world for business purpose and for the purpose of keeping close human linkage or relationship. But what is happening now? We are saying distancing has become the most important principle of existence. Means instead of interconnectivity or connectedness, now we are trying to accept the principle of distancing. And that's why everything has been, perhaps you have not minutely observed the situation, everything has been transforming or changing and reversing. Now from urban places, migration is there to the rural places. People are coming back, thousands of people started to come back from the big cities to their own villages. They are because the prime concern is the concern of safety of life. So friends, let us understand, let us get the worst lesson from the changing situation and be mindful towards the concept, towards all the good things concerning to environmental education, so that we can help to bring senses towards the total parameter of life by sensing values of life, by sensing our own attitudes, by sensing the total philosophy of existence and living, as well as using the properties of nature. Let us come back to the next one. Summing up the definition, we can explain that. Let us sum up the definition so that your idea, your concept concerning to environmental education becomes so much clear, so much vivid. Let us see in simple words by summing all the definitions, that is definition which was being provided in 1970 by the United States Environmental Education Act, then quotes the definition which was being provided by Jami Conference in 1974, then quote the definition which was being provided by the Nevada Conference of 1970, then quote by the definition of American State Conference of Education and Environment 1971, and thenceforth Madhu and Nidhi, and thenceforth there is also the National Anti-Pollution Law, Japan 1969, and last Madhu and Nidhi, the research study. We can summarize the definition on the concept of environmental education like this. In simple words, environmental education is an important aspect. This is one of the important aspects included by the modern educational process. Its main objective is one objective, which is prime concern, is to develop the consciousness. You have to become conscious, sincere at the time of using or treating, means exposing your behavior towards nature about the environment, which is sum of water, air and land. Means interrelationships among themselves and with the human beings, other living organisms and property as defined in Environmental Protection Act 1986. So friends, this is the most important explanation, and by understanding this explanation we can come to know about, or we can make our concept so much clear. Let us see the next slide. How environmental education helps. Why it is? Environmental education helps to develop proper consciousness, sincere consciousness for the protection and proper use of resources and various aspects which include physical as well as social situations. It imparts knowledge about the necessity of proper utilization and conservation of the resources, natural, cultural, spiritual, etc., which are inclusive of the total environment. So friends, these are the main things, and these are some of the areas with which the objective of environmental education has close linkage, and we are to, become so much mindful at the time of assessing environmental education, because failing to assess the concept of environmental education means that we are failing in real sense, where we are to be much more attentive for the protection of our life. Let us see the next slide. So how environmental education helps? Environmental education is a dynamic process. It is a, transforming process, changing process, so much dynamic process, because things are changing, life events are changing, nature is changing, and we have to change our attitudes and values and philosophy of life, and that's why it is a very dynamic, means changing process. The priority of such education means environmental education this should be is, not in, is to develop cautious mind. We have to be much more conscious, sincere, cautious mind of people about their total surrounding. Besides, its main task is to impart proper knowledge and training to solve various problems of our environment systematically. As we have polluted, we have destroyed the natural quality, now it is our duty to become well trained so that we can solve the problems of nature, so that nature survives for our own survival. Let us come to the next slide. Then, what are the objectives of environmental education? Now you have to see. The objectives of environmental education are broad in nature. These are very much extensive, not so much limited. The systematic knowledge about the care that should be taken in the explanation and utilization of natural resources for the development and progress of mankind is given through environmental education. The primary aim of environmental education is to impart knowledge about the principles required for the conservation and utilization of natural resources for the existence of mankind. So friends, existence is the basic concern of human life, and we require education. We need education so that we can make our existence quite rich and we can uplift the status of existence, and we can guarantee the status of existence so much well. So friends, we have to know, we have to study about the process of allocation of resources. Because of this, you know, many words are there. Gulf War, why you know? And if you study history, then you will come to know that, you see, for looting or for establishing dominance over the natural resources, you see, amidst some of the nations, there are always conflicts are going on. So friends, we have to be so much mindful with the help of proper knowledge, thorough knowledge of environmental education, and these are the basic objectives. Maybe environmental education as the subject area of education, or maybe environmental science as the subject area of all the students and teachers of different streams. Let us see next one, next objective. By destructing the natural resources without any thought, man can find the way of their own end. This is very important. If you do not become judicious, if you do not become thoughtful at the time of using the resources, it means that you are finding your way of own end, means own decline, own destruction. Environmental education gives required knowledge, necessary knowledge and experience for what? Realizing the value of such important values, means how to protect life, how we can protect our existence. That is important. The role of environmental education is important in the realization of the necessity of maintaining a friendly and well-balanced relationship between man and nature. There should be friendly relationship, there should be kindly relationship, there should be judicious relationship between man and nature. Otherwise, once you become very much, you see, rude, once you become very much unmindful at the time of behaving towards the properties of nature, it means that you are inviting your own danger, means you are inviting the end days of your society, civilization and life earlier. Let us see the next one. This is also one most important. These are also objectives. After considering these aspects, the main aims and objectives of environmental education are given below. Those were the basic objectives. These are the main objectives. Number one, to develop the sense of awareness. Now this high time to become so much aware. Among the students, means you people are to be aware, and that's why you are to study now environmental education about environment and its various problems. You are to study because you are the future citizen of the globe, future citizen of the universe, and that's why it is your prime duty. The mistakes your ancestors committed, you are to correct all the mistakes. Otherwise, your survival will totally be endangered. To help the students in realizing the interrelationship between man and environment, you are to study, you are to know the interrelationship, interlinkage between you and the environment. To help the students in acquiring basic knowledge about environment, you are to acquire the basic knowledge, means you are to know the basics of everything else relating to the environment and your life needs. To inform the students about the social norms that provide unity with environmental characteristics, unity with environmental specialities that has special importance, and thenceforth we have to see the fifth one after this, means next one, next slide, to increase positive attitude about environment among the students. Be positive. If you pollute, if you split, if you misuse water, if you misuse the properties of nature, it means that you are inviting danger. To develop proper skill required for the fulfillment of the aims of environmental education on educational evaluations. Then to develop proper skill among the students for the solution of the environmental problems. Now it is your duty, friends, to solve all the problems, because your ancestors, forefathers, you see the past generations committed mistake, and now you are to correct it. How? By studying environmental science or environmental education, to develop the sense of responsibility for the environment among the students. You try to be a responsible citizen towards your own life, towards the environment, towards your own existence. To help the students in realizing the importance of taking proper steps to solve environmental problems. Friends, it's your duty now to, correct the mistakes we committed. And that's why you have to study everything else. And you have to become much more concerned about the solution of all the problems. To develop required curiosity, awareness, willingness among the students for the realization of environmental problems, so that they would be inspired to work for the solution of such problems. Next, to create appropriate situations for the students to participate in the process of decision making about environment. Next, to develop the capability of using skills to fulfill the required aims to realize and solve environmental problems through social, political, cultural and educational processes. Not only with the help of only one process, we can, correct the mistakes. The society is to be conscious, and you people are to, carry the knowledge. You are to spread the knowledge among the people of your own society. There should be consciousness in political mechanism, and there should be cultural sense, because culture is the product of human life, and culture is being produced with the help of human, organisms by using the properties of nature and educational processes. This is to be changed because of the attack of COVID-19. Experts are of the opinion that in the coming days there will not be any face-to-face, 100% face-to-face learning and teaching arrangement. Staying wherever you will stay, that will not be the matter, but you have to keep contact with your students. Evaluation process also will change, because with the help of technology, not going to the institutional setting, everything is to be accomplished, and we have to be, ready, quite ready for that, because COVID-19 has helped us to learn so many things with the help of scrutinizing the changing scenario. So friends, today in this class, the basic meaning of environmental education has been discussed. At the same time, the basic objectives as well as the general objectives, or specific objectives of environmental education, the general objective, specific objectives as well as the general objectives of environmental education, have been discussed, and thenceforth by studying all these most important objectives and definition, everything else concerning to environmental education, I am much more hopeful will be so much clear if you become much more attentive towards all the information which have already been given here to you in this class with the help of the slides. You please study, pay attention towards each of the words, towards all the important words, so that you can realize the significance of the survival of natural properties and nature for your own survival. Last word is this, that again I have to say that nature is surviving for your own help, for the help of humanity. It is for the use of you people, and that's why it is you, means in your own decision whether you are to destroy your own survival place or place of survival, means you are to invite your end soon, or you are to protect it for the protection of your own civilization and own history, means history of generation. So thank you so much for the today, means this much the definition, the specific aims, the specific objectives, the general aim, the general objectives of environmental education have been discussed in detailed manner, and by studying all the important information, all students, particularly basically the students of education, and all students who are to study environmental science as their core paper will be benefited. So thank you so much.